Hey guys, it's Lily here. I'm at the gardens. I've got Sweetie with me, and I thought I'm going to try and read to you from this book, the book of Pluto. And yeah, I did mention this book late last year that I might be diving into this one, so I thought today's a good day to start. I'm going to jump into page 195 because I'm taking a look at Pluto in the signs. So I'm going to start off by reading Pluto in Capricorn, because that's where we're right at the end of now, because come March Pluto is going to enter into the sign of Aquarius, so that'll be the next one I read. Anyway, hopefully you can hear okay. Hopefully no other dogs are going to approach us, because that won't be pretty with my dog Sweetie here, because she's not so sweet when other dogs are around. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So Pluto in, actually I'm going to give her a little treat. Sweetie, do you want a treat? You want a treat, Bubby? Yeah, good girl. You get Mum get one. There we go. There you go. Okay, so Pluto in Capricorn, the last cycle entered January 26, 2008, and it exited June the 14th, 2008. And then it re-entered on the 27th of November 2008. The next cycle of Pluto in Capricorn doesn't happen until December the 21st, 2254, and then it'll exit on August 17th, 2254, re-entering on October 6th, 2022. No, sorry, 2022 54. So it starts off by saying the passion. You know how you feel when you finally get around to clearing the house? Not the bitter angst leading up to the task, but rather the satisfied, righteous feeling that pervades the air when the labor is done and done well. For Pluto in Capricorn, attaining that gratifying state is the ruling passion. Boring? Well, perhaps. So when it comes to house cleaning, boring? Well, perhaps. So when it comes to house cleaning. But Capricorn represents the human capacity to endure in any extended effort. It has a roll-up-your-sleeves quality, but its focus is always, ultimately, the attainment of that classic Capricorn ideal, the great work. Projects, vast and noble undertakings, constructions of epic proportions, these delight Pluto in Capricorn. Accordingly, it possesses a passion for efficiency and organization, a sense of the long view, and a taste for effective leadership. The style. Hard-working, serious, devoted. Those are Capricornish qualities. Its style is enduring and persistent. To say there is no frills quality to the sign conveys some truth, but the notion that Pluto in Capricorn represents the dark period for artists or designers is misleading. Tastes change, but the human need for aesthetic experience is eternal. Under Capricorn, it runs toward mastery and virtuosity. The enthusiasm runs high for that which is perceived as having eternal appeal or value. Great value is placed under Pluto in Capricorn upon so-called Protestant ethical virtues. Character, integrity, and productivity. Social order becomes a concern with manifestations both in terms of law enforcement and also in terms of simple etiquette and courtesy. There is formality in the air, but it's not necessarily joyless. You might enjoy getting dressed up and savoring an expensive meal at a fine, decorous French restaurant. That's Capricorn energy, and it can be a rewarding experience. The heart of the matter, however, lies in the notion of massive efforts to attain practical goals. Above all, Pluto in Capricorn wants to build something that will endure. The blind spot. Desire is a delicate creature. Control it too much and it dies, or turns into something grotesque. Control it too little and it eats one's life and destroys one's happiness. The feeling that life is good and abundant comes in large part from getting what we want fairly consistently. Chronic deprivation and failure erode a person's verve and playfulness. Thus, desire is is intimately connected to happiness, and yet desire can consume happiness utterly. These meditations help us to attune blind spots potentially connected with Pluto in Capricorn. Knowing what we want and getting what we want arise from very different centers in human consciousness. To know a desire, we must melt into it, allow it to surface, savor it, feel it, explore it in our imaginations. It is a soft process, in old speak, a feminine process, later empowered by the wise self-aware knowledge of what we truly want. The psyche hardens itself, the eyes narrow to slits, the mind becomes calculating, and we go get it, a masculine process in the ancestral speech. Capricorn excels at the latter process, making things happen. Good girl. You've been a very good girl. But its blind spot lies in the former process, the softening into the wise heart of desire. In simple words, Capricorn may not know what it really wants. Worse, it might then begin building pyramids for which it has no real use or desire. As this empty process unfolds, lack of expected satisfactions only pushes Capricorn harder. We see the workaholic, the perpetual delayer of gratification, the obsessive builder of bank accounts, the accumulator of victories, attainer of lonely heights, or the stern, joyless devotee of the spiritual path. I'll just give Sweetie another treat. One more, Bubby. Good girl. The shadow. Always one characteristic that helps distinguish the blind spot from the shadow. As I'm using the terms, is that the blind spot hurts only ourselves, while the shadow will generally damage others as well. When Capricorn descends into its own shadow, it takes inappropriate control over others. Wow, we've really seen that in these times. Enlisting them in its own obsessive projects. In stark language, Pluto in Capricorn is omnious of the tyrant or the dictator. Hello. At its worst. It is that most corrupt of human spirits, the holder of slaves. Wow, that's on point, isn't it? Unless we believe some rather incredible reports out of India, as I write these words, there is no one alive on the planet with Pluto in Capricorn, but there's plenty of Capricorn energy around, so it's not an unknown quantity. We've got a pretty good taste of it over the past couple of years, wouldn't you say? Yeah. When Pluto enters the sign again in 2008, the collective move will shift into that goatish direction that should signal the beginning of a massive practical effort to move humanity into the new millennium. The great work of Pluto in Capricorn is, I suspect, the establishment of a sustainable, practical relationship between 10 billion humans and their finite ecosystem. Pluto in Scorpio has brought us to the bleak realization of what we may have done to our planet, along with the imminence of our own apocalypse unless the tide is turned, and threatened us with some simple despair peppered with violence. Pluto in Sagittarius promised the widespread re-emergence of hope based on believable, attractive visions of the human future, and threatens a collective binge of happy-go-lucky, denial-driven self-destruction. And Pluto in Capricorn offers the actual practical creation of a postmodern world that works realistically and efficiently from the toilets right up to the space station. And it threatens us with a terrible clampdown as some patriarchy of either or both genders decides to make trains run on time no matter what. The saving grace. The controlling shadow of Capricorn possesses no autonomous reality. It is only contorted, deformed expression of an ultimately necessary principle. Discipline, realism, and seriousness of purpose can bloom under Pluto in Capricorn, allowing visionary spiritual principles to manifest physically and durably in this material world. Some people with natal Pluto in Capricorn is Ludwig van Beethoven, Napoleon the First, Jane Austen, Andrew Jackson, John Adams, Madame de Stael, John Dee, I don't even know half these people, Alexander First of Russia, Johnny Appleseed, and Joseph Farrier. I don't even know so many of them. Anyway, that was a little bit of Capricorn or Pluto in Capricorn, and then the next one I'm going to read is Pluto in Aquarius, which we've got coming up in March. So yeah, let me know any thoughts. You can see how that sort of relates to the time we've been in. And yeah, I'm going to keep going with this girl. I can't believe how good she's been. I better end it here before something happens, hey? Alright, bye guys.